Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We're so pleased to have in the studio with us today another good friend of ours from National University, Dr. Ritika Bhawal. She is a professor in the Department of Mathematics and Natural Sciences. How you doing there, Ritika?
Good morning. Very well. It's such a joy and pleasure to be here.
Well, we're thrilled that you can you join us. How long have you been teaching at National?
It's been 10 good years now.
Oh, my goodness. Where were you before?
I was in Indiana.
Okay. What university?
So I went to IU, Bloomington.
Of course.
That's where I got
Go Hoosiers. Right?
The Hoosiers, go Hoosiers.
Right. You a basketball fan?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't if you're not an IU, then they'll be finding another place for you, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yes. So IU was where I went to school, got my master's and my PhD.
Oh, fantastic! And the PhD was in what?
PhD was in health behavior with a specialization in human sexuality.
Oh, interesting. What got you into that area? It always been an interest of yours, a family interest?
Oh no. It's funny you asked me because
Please.
I remember the time I decided to specialize in human sexuality, and I was talking to my father, and the first thing he says, there was an awkward 15-second pause, and then he's like, wasn't there anything else you could find to specialize? Like, what do I tell my friends? So that was funny.
That's hilarious. How old were you when you told him this?
Oh, I'll be giving up our age here.
No.
I was 26.
Okay, just a few years ago. Okay, very good. That's
there you
right.
go.
Exactly. I can just see the look on his face. Oh my goodness. And then of course he supported you all the way on that.
He did.
Yeah.
And, to answer your original question, I actually am a physician from India. So I had the clinical background. We did talk about sexuality, but in a very clinical way.
Right.
So I think it was something that my advisor thought that I could bring to the table. And she was the one who nudged me. And I will be honest, I was scared. I'm like, no, I don't think I can do it. And she said, yes, you can. And, years down the line, that's what I teach.
Yeah. So National University, great university. They're so well connected in this community and others as well. I bet you love the vibe working there.
Oh, absolutely. National University, what can I say? Everything about National speaks to me, and, especially the students that we serve.
Correct.
We call them And-ers.
That's right.
And the word And-ers basically honors who our students are, their journey. It's they're just not a student.
Right.
They're a student and a professional. They're a student and a caregiver. They're a student and a military veteran. So it's all these layers of complexity and identity that really tells their story. And we're so proud at National that we honor that journey. And that's our And-ers.
No, I think that's fantastic. So, talk a little bit about, you'd like to talk about sports, right?
Yes, I do.
And did you have a background in sports? Did you play sports?
I did.
What did you play?
I played, so I was an athlete. I played team sports. I was a sprint runner. I did 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, long jump. Then I played team sports like basketball, cricket, kabaddi. Kabaddi is,
oh my goodness.
To all the listeners, that's probably a very different team sport, never, not really seen outside of India. But that was one of my favorite team sports.
What was your fastest time in the 100? I'm a former sports writer, so we're going to get so off topic. It's going to be ridiculous,
15 seconds.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
That's good. So you're almost halfway there to a decathlete for with ripping all these off over here. Do you play cricket out here at all?
I do.
Okay.
Not as much, not in a formal way, but it's more in the form of mentoring and coaching these young kids who've been displaced and It was more to give them a platform to create that sense of belonging and a mode to get acculturated to the new culture here.
Did you play with your former colleague Gangram?
I had the pleasure of watching him play,
Right.
and yes.
Yeah, so Gangram, used to be a dean over at National University, and actually invited me to come out and watch a big cricket match he was involved in. That's not too far from where I live in Rancho Penasquitos, and we have a park right out there, and it was fascinating, and to watch it. And obviously, it's a huge following, to say the least, in the world, and so forth. So now, do you have kids?
No, I did not.
Okay, I was going to say, because did they get their mom's athletic ability on this aspect of it? So cricket and all that, but talk about why sports is so, important to you. I love what you wrote down there. My business colleague, Charles Parisi, the founder and CEO of Cloudcast, we talk about business maybe 2% of the time, and then 98% we talk sports. We both happened to play sports many years ago, but why is it so important? Talks about, sport as resilience, as teamwork, as collaboration, and 4 million other things in between.
For me personally, having been an athlete or been a part of team sports as well, what I have realized and learned is that team sports, being a part of sports, really lays out that emotional blueprint for your life. And I will also say this, our university president, President Mark Millian, always says that, and that really resonates with me, that team sports are one of the greatest classrooms for life.
100%.
That's where you learn about humility, collaboration, resilience, perseverance. And these are those exact lessons that make you a better student, a better educator, and ultimately a better human being.
Yeah, and those who have never experienced that, and I always encourage people, I don't care how bad you are at a sport, you should at least try it. And everyone will take every one of those learning lessons. And one of the beauties of it, maybe you can address this, and I'm sure you talk to your students about it as well. We learn more from failure than we do from success. Talk about that.
That really struck a chord with me, because I'll take you back in time. I remember when I lost my first game, I came back home very dejected, questioning everything, my self-worth, all of it. And I remember sitting next to my dad, and he comes up to me and says, let the game humble you, but never let it make you feel small. He said, losing is not the opposite of winning. It's just a new chapter, and you decide how you rewrite that. So get up and try again. And that's the true winning, trying again. And, that is something that I see in my students as well, is that willingness to show up no matter what, no matter how beat you are, no matter how tired you are, you're showing up. And I think that's how winning is done.
Yeah. And, talk about that in the same vein is creating a champion mindset, which goes hand in hand. Talk about that.
So for me, champion mindset is not just an idea. I think it's an outcome that we cultivate when we have the right resources and the right supports in place. And I said before, being a champion means the willingness to show up. And if you're showing up, you're a champion.
Yeah, we're chatting with Dr. Ritika Bhawal. She is a professor in the Department of Mathematics and Natural Sciences at the National University. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast. We're in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades, just doing great things in San Diego County. So when you're teaching your class, are you bringing in a lot of these sports analogies? Are you bringing in these different examples? Do you bring anyone from sports to talk to the students?
Not yet.
Okay.
To the last question, I haven't been able to bring in someone from sports yet, but that's definitely something I think might be a great idea to do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do bring up sports analogy. And again, in a way to just remind our students about the fact that it's not all about the winning. It's about believing in you. It's to remind you, taking a step back, reflecting on my role as an educator and as a coach, And I realized my role is more of being that calm voice amongst chaos. It's realizing the times when you need to really nudge, when you need to take a step back and let your students, let your mentees take that shot. It's reminding them that you believe in them, reminding them that you're all along with them along the way till they're willing to walk alone.
I think part of this is you came to the United States when you were very young?
Yes. So this was back in 2004.
So I came back to the United States. Okay. But you learned English back in India? Yes? No?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So you were relatively fluent when you came here, correct?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
But, if I can,
please,
since you asked that,
yeah.
It reminded me of this funny incident because it also, talks about the fear and that self-doubt you have to work through to be out there and be confident and be in a classroom. So I remember my first encounter when I was in a classroom. I was in the physiology lab teaching physiology, and I kept telling students, go get the beaker from the trolley. And everybody's looking at me like, what is she saying?
Funny.
And I said, the trolley. And then my graduate assistant comes up and said, it's called the cart. I said, okay, it's the cart.
Right.
So it's moments like these
Sure.
when you have to be able to take it in your stride and just show up. We all make mistakes, and that's true for being in sports as well. You fall, you get up, and you try again.
Right. So what level of mathematics do you teach? You teach a certain type of mathematics in the National University?
So I'm in the A&P program.
Okay.
It's the Department of Mathematics,
right.
But now I'm currently in the A&P teaching anatomy and physiology.
Okay, right. And so, when you just talk about resilience and you talk about, we all know people who aren't math folks get the heebie-jeebies when they have to think about math. It's the worst thing in the world. I'll never get out of it and all that. Do you have to talk some of your students off the ledge? No, you can do this stuff. It's tough, but you can do it.
Yes, absolutely. Going back to what I said, it's like, giving them the bat and telling them, hey, take your shot. You got this. It's okay, you'll miss the balls a few times, but eventually you'll find your rhythm.
Right.
And I think the same goes with our students is when they're worried. I remember this one student back in the day, nervous and says, I don't think I belong here. I don't think I can do it. And I said, the fact that you've shown up means you've already done it and you can do it. So it's constant. I think that reassurance and the belief that you tell the students they can do it. And I think that's where the power of storytelling is so important, because I remind them about my journey, about when I came here, from learning how to call capsicum green pepper, cart, trolley.
Right.
So if I can do it, you definitely can.
No, that's absolutely true. We're, again, chatting with Dr. Ritika Bhawal, a professor at the National University. When we come back from break, I want to talk a little bit about, continuing on the sports theme and what you're really helping the students with. Some of the things that you really love about with National University, all you mentioned about with Dr. Mark Milliron and so forth, and what you like with the teachers and teaching those students as well. But also, what are some of the challenges that you see personally for yourself, as, you're navigating a very interesting world we're in right now, at least in the U.S. and, of course, throughout the world itself. And what advice you can give for people. You're very passionate, I can see, about your teaching. You love to teach. It just oozes out of you. But maybe some advice for people who are listening that, I think I want to become a teacher, and maybe at the university level. Think about that as well. When we return to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast in our 19th year. Honored to have in the studio with us today Dr. Ritika Bhawal. She is a professor in the Department of Mathematics and Natural Sciences for National University. Our Spotlight Show is brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in San Diego County. We're just talking about some of the things you love to teach, obviously, but talk a little bit about, the challenges, teaching, coming to this country, went to IU and all that business. We certainly know, unless you've been living in the space station Mir, we're in a very interesting time in this world, to say the least. How do you work with your students on, if there is some outside pressures for them, how do you deal with that? How do you let them know, listen, we're going to be okay?
I think it all begins with creating that safe space for them. And I truly believe having structure does not necessarily mean, or it's not really the opposite of freedom. It's giving them that safety net and for the ability to take risks. So going back to creating that safe space for my students, I think for me, that's where it all begins. When a student can step into the classroom and feel safe to be able to make mistakes, feel safe to be their authentic self, I think that's where the true learning begins. And I know we are in some very interesting times today, and it's just this constant reminder to my students is to validate how they feel, not to dismiss, and again, give them that assurance, the courage to speak their mind without any judgment.
Right. Talk about how that sort of ties in your teaching philosophy, what you do when you were coaching youth. Those experiences coaching youth have helped you with what you're doing now, teaching mathematics.
Absolutely. And it goes back to, again, creating that safety net for them, creating that space and allowing them to make that mistakes, giving them the confidence, when they're unsure, to pick up the bat and take that shot, and telling them, yes, go for it. You can do it. The empathy.
Right.
I think it's so important to recognize, acknowledge, and appreciate everyone's journey, everyone's story, and help them to build from that.
Right. So, talk a little bit about you're now representing NU, and of course you are, and you're talking to some potential professors that want to teach at NU. Why would you suggest they teach at National University? What is so cool about that place?
As I said, it goes back to our students, to our to anyone who's listening this and is thinking about being in the classroom teaching our students. I think more for the students, it's for them as well. I think teaching our And-ers has helped me grow in more ways than one. It has given me the inspiration and again reminded me of how much and so much that can be achieved just by having that grit, by determination, that perseverance. And our students, I think, are the embodiment of that. So if anyone wants to really be a part of that journey, be a part of that success story, National is the place to be.
Right. Okay. So you're obviously very thoughtful, to say the least, care about your students. 10 years you've been doing this. You love it. It's 10 years from now. What are you doing?
I'm hoping I'm doing the same. I'm hoping I can continue encouraging, continue inspiring anyone who's on the fence, thinking if this is for them or not, if this program is for them or not, if the classroom is for them or not. I'm hoping I can still convince them that, yes, this is it. This is your shot. You can do it.
Do you ever see yourself going back into coaching at all, coaching sports?
I think that's something I'm doing as
in the classroom.
In the classroom as well as on the field. I continue to coach and mentor. And I don't think I would ever want to give that up.
Okay.
You previously asked me if I had any kids. I do have a niece, and I FaceTime with her every day. And these are the exact things I instilled in her. And I was finally able to convince her to get into basketball. So,
is she back in India?
No, she's in Armenia. And she's all of 8 years old.
Oh, okay.
So it's like...
And is she getting into basketball?
Yes, she is.
Okay, very, very good. And why basketball and maybe not cricket?
Oh, cricket as well.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
I did, the last time I visited her, I took a cricket bat for her. So that's something that she loves. But basketball is what's offered in her school for her at this moment. And for me, I think it was more about being a part of a team sport, because that's where I learned my life lessons, and I'm hoping she does too.
So have you gone to a lot of baseball games here?
Not many.
Okay, not many. But because you're very familiar with the Padres, of course,
Yes,
and so forth. How would the professional baseball players do on a cricket field?
That's a great question. I think, there are a lot of similarities in terms of the batting, the pitching.
Right.
I could speak the other way around, because
Please.
I've seen the youth that I coach and mentor, I have seen them take up a baseball bat and hit, and I think they do fabulous. So I'm pretty sure it could work the other way around too.
Right. No, that sounds great. What sport did you not play that you wish you played?
So speaking out aloud, I did try flag football.
In India or here?
Here.
Okay.
I did play basketball, cricket, soccer. I've tried soccer, but I've not really played it. So I'm hoping I can do that someday.
Right. Now, does the faculty, and if they don't, I'm going to recommend this to Mark, and they'll say, this is why we don't talk to you too much, Drew. Do you guys have any competitions? Do you have any, like an Olympics of the faculty of National University?
Oh my God, you spoke my mind. I wish we did.
So here we go.
Sign me up.
We're going to initiate this. Mark's going to be coming back on the 20th, for a couple episodes and all this. I think I might mention that his very cool professor, Ritika, we're talking about there's got to be some competition with the faculty. And so we'll get the Carroll Canyon team versus maybe the Spectrum team.
Oh, I love it.
There we go. We'll start a competition. Charles and I will be the officials. We'll come up with the sports, and that's what we'll do. So I think that'd be great. We're chatting with Dr. Ritika Bhawal. She is a professor in the Department of Mathematics and Natural Sciences for National University. I'm Drew Schlosberg, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Just 6 decades of doing great things in our community, food insecurity, art, financial literacy, and everything in between. What can our listeners do to support, your efforts? Obviously, you're in the classroom teaching and all that, but what can they do? What can they do to make life great for you and for your students as well?
I think for us stakeholders, I hope this conversation reinforces the idea that investing in student success means investing in the whole person. When we support our community, when we support our learners, when we support our adult learners, our youth, not just academically, but holistically, we are building stronger families, more resilient communities, and a workforce that is focused and rooted in purpose and perseverance.
Yeah, your words to everybody's ears on this. And just think about it. So if there are a whole bunch of Dr. Ritika Bhawals running around that believed in people's success and helped them be success, we'd be a very different place and a very positive place. So I applaud you for that. It's a pleasure meeting you. You and I offline are going to work on some competition. We're gonna sit there and bring this idea to Mark Milliron, and probably the last time he'll talk to me, but that's okay. And we just appreciate you coming on. Any last thoughts?
No, it's an absolute pleasure being here, and thank you so much for this platform to share my story, to share my journey, and to highlight National. I think National University is the place to be. And as our president, Mark Milliron, always says, wings up, we are ready for the flight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been our pleasure, Dr. Ritika Bhawal. I'm sure we'll have you back on the show somewhere down the road, maybe with a student or so, or maybe when we have this competition. That would be terrific. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.